Spring Television. Ours it is.
Here are the top stories of the news. Peter Obi says conviction of his campaign counsel DG Doyin Okupe will not affect his presidential bid. Police devise new strategies to arrest and prosecute politicians involved in vote buying. On the foreign scene, rescue operations for missing sailors in the Gulf of Thailand enters second day. Good afternoon and welcome to Spring News at 12. I am Tunde Idowu. The Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi says the conviction of his campaign organization's Director General, Dr. Doyin Okupe, over alleged money laundering would not break his resolve to be Nigeria's president. Mr. Obi stated this during interaction with newsmen in Uyo at the Nigeria Union of Journalists Akwa Ibom State Council Secretariat yesterday. The Labour Party presidential candidate said he was undaunted by the conviction and will continue with his campaign and allow the process of law to take its course. Mr. Obi further disclosed that he was determined to dismantle the existing political structure in the country, which encouraged corruption and spread poverty amongst Nigerians. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, said his administration will create an enabling environment for youths to thrive. Obi disclosed this when he met with university students in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital, adding that as former governor of Anambra State, he created a thriving environment for innocent vehicle manufacturing, amongst others. He stated that one of the priorities of his government, if elected next year, will be providing loans and grants for small and medium-scale businesses formed by students. The former Anambra governor is scheduled to hold his presidential rally in the South State later today. The presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, APC, Bola Tinubu, will meet with the party's South stakeholders in Cross River State later today. The APC Deputy Director of Presidential Campaign Council, South, and Chairman of Media Operations, Dr. Julius Oputu, disclosed this, adding that everything is set for the engagement. He stated that the former Lagos State Governor had set a standard for good governance when he was governor, adding that Cross River has also set an agenda for the development of the state when he becomes president. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says it will not be swayed in its determination to work in collaboration with agencies to ensure that the 2023 general election is not influenced by vote buying. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakub said this at a stakeholders conference on addressing the influence of money in the 2023 general election in Abuja. The conference was organized by INEC in collaboration with the Independent Corrupt Practices Commission, ICPC, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, the National Broadcasting Commission, Nigeria Police Force, and the Advertising Regulatory Council of Nigeria. Professor Yakubu said that as a commission, INEC harbored no illusion that it was going to be easy to root out the negative influence of money on elections, but it was determined to tackle it. He urged Nigerians to reject inducement to sway their votes through vote buying in the 2023 general elections, as well as to report such cases to the Commission and other relevant authorities. On his part, Chairman, Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, Yabaji Sani, said all stakeholders and lovers of democracy, peace and stability of the country must rise up against the use of money to subvert the wish of the people in the 2023 poll.
Is aware that legal provisions and actions of the agencies are critical, but will not be enough to completely root out the deep-seated cancer of corrupt money in our elections. The concerted actions of citizens are crucial. Citizens must reject inducements to sway their votes through vote buying. They must also engage effectively in stopping the negative use of money in our electoral process generally by reporting cases to INEC and other agencies. In addition, civil society organizations should make this a major plank of both their pre-election and election observation activities.
In the meantime, the National Broadcasting Commission (NBC) and the Advertising Regulatory Council of Nigeria have advised media houses to adhere to laws and regulations guiding financial transactions, political campaigns, and broadcasts during the 2023 general election. The agencies gave the warning at a stakeholders conference on addressing the influence of money in the 2023 general election organized by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) in Abuja. Director General of NBC, Balarabe Ilela, in his remarks, advised all media houses, especially the broadcast media, to ensure full compliance with the regulations and keep records of their revenue flow to avoid unnecessary embarrassment. Mr. Ilela said Section 2, Subsection 1 of the Money Laundering Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022 prohibits any person from making or accepting cash payment of a sum exceeding 5 million naira and 10 million naira for corporate bodies or its equivalent. In his address, the Director General of ARCON, Dr. Olalekan Fadolapo, charged advertising agencies on full disclosure of their revenue, saying ARCON is empowered to write to and obtain information on financial transactions by advertising agencies in Nigeria.
By the prohibition of excise laws regulating financial transactions in Nigeria, particularly money laundering, Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022. For the avoidance of doubt, Section 2, Subsection 1 of the Act prohibits any person or body corporate from making or accepting cash payment of a sum exceeding 5 million naira.
The law prohibits transaction in financial volume up to some amount. With the new law of the Advertising Regulatory Council of Nigeria, the council is empowered to investigate and sanction any agency which is within the remit of the control of the ARCON to ensure that there is compliance with financial transactions. The second leg has to do with disclosure. The Advertising Regulatory Council is empowered to write to and obtain information on financial transactions by advertising agencies in Nigeria.
The Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba Alkali, says the Nigeria Police has devised new strategies to arrest and prosecute politicians who are into vote buying. The IGP gave the assurance at a stakeholders summit aimed at addressing the influence of money on the 2023 general election held in Abuja yesterday. The IGP, who was represented by the Assistant Inspector General of Police Operations, Bala Siroma, said the police will monitor politicians moving around on election days with tons of cash for vote buying. He stated that the Nigeria Police, as the lead agency in electoral security management, will ensure that the use of money is not allowed to influence the 2023 general election. He revealed that the police force plans to reduce the monies to the barest minimum, adding that the police is in synergy with other security agencies, anti-graft and intelligence agencies, and other stakeholders to reduce it. The military has described the report that some civilians were killed in a bombardment carried out by the Nigerian Air Force on Sunday in Zamfara State as untrue. The Theater Commander Operations Hadim Daji, Major General Uwem Basi, speaking to newsmen via telephone conversation, said nothing like that ever happened. General Basi added that the reported killing of residents was only intended to take the seal from the successes by the military. It was earlier reported that scores of persons were killed and others injured during an air bombardment of suspected terrorists by the military at the Butumji community in the Maru local government area of Zamfara State on Sunday. A joint team of security agents in Bauchi State have killed at least 12 suspected bandits and kidnappers during a gun battle in Alkeleri local government area of the state.
So it's huge, but I can't bet against the Argentines. You know, we always have something to produce. It might take a while. You know, 1986 is 36 years ago. Before Messi, before another player, and before they had to wait 36 years years before winning the World Cup. You know, so but you can never say never. It will not be witnessed by our own generation. But you know, the talent pool. Look at this competition. We're talking about an Mbappe, 23 years of age. You know, there are young boys. Look at Haaland. How old is he? Is he as well? In his early 20s. So young players, and the way the game is becoming more and more technical, faster. But players are coming up that are adapting and destroying it, still with the manner of the game. So it's a big shoe that Messi is leaving behind. But I'm so sure someone, I just pray, will live long to be able to see that person that will come back.
Àtótó arére.
Kò ṣeé má gbọ́ ìròyìn.
Evelyn Ohiole,
Hi.
King Eve. How are you today?
I'm good, I'm fine, I'm alive.
I really feel like she's not giving the right answer to the question. When one asks you, how are you? And you said, you're saying, I'm alive. It's very annoying, seriously. How are you? I'm fine. I feel I'm fine would be the right answer instead of I'm alive. Not that I asked you if you're dead before.
Go and check all these 14-year-old, 15-year-old, 16-year-old, everybody, they are extraordinarily sexually active.
I feel is being unnecessarily hyper when it comes to the issue of sex, because we talk about other topics and it feels so reserved. It really doesn't have anything much to say when it comes to other stuff. But when it's the issue of sex, I believe he's being unnecessarily hyper. That's when I have to pick an issue with him. I mean, it's just being unnecessarily there when we're talking about sex. Just like a child, his mom just got him his favorite chocolate or ice cream, very happy, doing as though if he doesn't have sex for a day, he's going to die.
When it comes to finance, women also support their husbands financially. You need me emotionally. You need me spiritually.
Cassie is an amazing person, but I hate the too much attachment to that gender. I need you spiritually, I need you mentally. I can get these things anywhere with money. If you go by the topic was, who does marriage favors the most? I know how many jobless women they marry every Saturday. They are saying it favors you.
You're watching Spring News at 12 on Western Spring Television. A survey carried out by a non-governmental civic tech organization, Urban Alert, has revealed job creation, health, commerce, and education as the areas seeking extremely urgent attention from the new Osun State government of Governor Ademola Adeleke. Urban Alert recently released findings of the survey conducted in the 30 local government areas of the state. 17 issues and sectors were ranked during the exercise between extremely urgent, very urgent, urgent, and slightly urgent by respondents. Joining me on Spring News at 12 to provide further analysis on this survey is the team lead for Urban Alert, Anthony Adejuwon. I'd like to say good afternoon to you and thank you for joining me.
Good afternoon and thank you for having me.
Let's look at what your findings looked like with the survey which was recently released. What methodology will you attribute to use before reaching this conclusion?
Yeah, thank you so much. For us at Urban Alert, we were able to make use of two sampling techniques. Okay. One, we carried out the survey using random sampling. And we were able to cover 3,763 units in Osun State. We definitely cover the 30 local governments in the state. Aside that, we were able to also organize a roundtable discussion where journalists professionals, stakeholders in the state were able to come together to discuss issues and, as a matter of fact, set the agenda for the new government of the state. And the result is there. And we are so glad that we've been able to give the people of the state the voice to set their own agenda for the government. One thing is for politicians to know this is what the people need. And another thing is for the people themselves to come out and say, this is what we need. And it's actually there from the ranking issues, in fact, sectors and issues that were ranked extremely urgent were job creation, health, commerce, and education. And the big thing about the ranking was that people don't just rank. They identify the problems and also suggested solutions. And in fact, it's good to know that people said that the new government should declare a state of emergency on education. And that for us as an organization is something that the current government should look into and ensure that they do the biddings of the people.
With this survey you have carried out and with what the residents of this state have come out to identify where it is needed, health, education, commerce, which are seeking extremely urgent attention from the new Osun State government, would you say that these are that they are in line with the demands of the people, with the promises made during Governor Adeleke's campaign?
Yes, slightly. However, you know that politicians, they love to sugarcoat issues. And this is the people talking, saying this is what we really want. In fact, when the rankings were being made, they didn't just rank. They were able to provide solution for job creation. They've said, yes, we have OES, you know, the youth scheme that, you know, seems to empower the youth. But this time, it should go further. Don't forget that in April this year, NBS actually reported that Osun State has 37.3% unemployment rate. And that is definitely huge. So rather than the government just going forward with OES, people have suggested that there should be a skill acquisition scheme. And after this acquisition, the government should be able to empower citizens, the youth especially, so that they can start their own business and also employ.
With all this being put in place, what measure do you think the government of Senator Adeleke can put in place to ensure issues in this area of job creation, health, commerce, and education, how can they be addressed by this government?
It's very simple. Great. Listen to the people. Feel the temperature of the people. They've actually suggested so many ways to ensure that jobs are created. There are free trade zones that have been here for years, not really functioning. How can the new government ensure that these places, these programs that were initially, you know, executed or launched by previous governments work for the people? The government, as a matter of urgency, also need to be transparent to the people. Yes, the people and the government shouldn't be far from each other. In fact, the governor is expected monthly to meet with the people publicly. Let people know what your government has done and the last 1 month, so that you will keep them up to date with the development in the state. And for us as an organization, this is huge. And if the government is actually serious to ensure that they do what the people want, they should need to follow these ranks. They need to follow these suggestions that the survey has made public for us.
Now, before I allow you go, what other areas from the 17 issues and sectors ranked during your exercise do you believe should be given proper attention?
Mining and environment. It's been in the news for more than 2 years how gold mining, illegal and unregulated gold mining activities in the state have polluted water bodies, not just the 213-kilometer Osun River that flows through 5 states in the southwestern part of Nigeria, but also other water bodies within the state, land degradation and the rest. It is expected that this survey, which has actually ranked mining and environment as urgent issues, that the new government need to sit down, understand the situation, and ensure that people do not continue to suffer from environmental issues caused by mining, but they should have the opportunity to benefit from the solid minerals being taken from their communities. And that is it for us as an organization. And that is just the wish of the people also.
Now, how regular will this survey be like to keep the government on its toes from Urban Alert to make sure that, yes, all these things are looked into?
Yes, at Urban Alert, we believe we need to make government accountable. Not just directly. We need to empower citizens to put pressure on the government and make the government accountable. So it's not going to be a one-off thing. We've started after the election, after the government was, sworn into government. We are going to do mid-term survey after a year. And we are going to continue like that till the next 4 years when this term will finish. And if God willing, he wins, then we continue again. It's been a pleasure speaking with the team lead of Urban Alert, Mr. Anthony Adejuwon. Thank you for having me. Ahead of the Christmas and New Year celebrations, the Osun State Police Command has banned street carnivals across the state. In a statement by the police public relations officer, SP Yemisi Okpalola, the police warned residents, especially youths, to desist from activities that could cause mayhem in the state. SP Okpalola explained that the ban became imperative because miscreants under the guise of street carnival plan to carry out mayhem. The police urged all organizers of carnivals to hire halls or use gated compounds to celebrate their festivals. On the foreign scene, rescuers are combing the Gulf of Thailand on the second day of search for 29 sailors still missing after a Thai warship sank. The ship carrying 105 crew sank off the southeast coast on Sunday night after losing power in a storm. Search teams have saved 76 people so far, including one man found today after 2 nights in rough seas. But close to a third of the crew is still missing, and the Navy has not disclosed if there were any fatalities. The Thai Navy and Air Force resumed the search today with hundreds of officers on 4 Navy ships, as well as several helicopters deployed to scan a vast 50 square kilometer area. A Thai naval commander had earlier suggested search crews had only a 2-day window to find anyone alive in the ocean. Before we end the news, here is a recap of our top stories. The Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi says the conviction of his campaign organization Director General Dr. Doyin Okupe over alleged money laundering will not break his resolve to be Nigeria's president. Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba Alkali, says the Nigeria Police has devised new strategies to arrest and prosecute politicians who are into vote buying. And on the foreign scene, we told you that rescuers are combing the Gulf of Thailand on the second day of a search for 29 sailors still missing after a Thai warship sank. You can follow us on our social media handles on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Western Spring Television. You can also watch us live on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television. That ends Spring News at 12 on Western Spring Television. Thank you for joining us. My name is Tunde Idowu.